Hello, my name's Caroline, and when I was 10, my parents divorced. I didn't really understand what was going on because I was quite young, and only a few years later my mum was already marrying another man. It all seemed a bit quick to me, but seeing as I still got to spend every weekend with my dad, I couldn't complain too much. Now I have 2 houses and 2 bedrooms, and my dad is a real adventurer, so we always have the best times together. I am an only child, but when my mum remarried, her new husband, Max, started inviting his son Lewis to come and stay at our house. Seeing as I'd never had siblings, this was pretty cool. Lewis is the same age as me, and we have so much in common. I was so surprised when we first met, and he was actually interested in the books I like and the movies too. None of my friends like watching old movies, but I'm obsessed with the old classics. And Lewis is too, so whenever he comes to stay, we always have a movie marathon. During that first year of my mum being married to Max, we went on a big summer vacation together. My mom, Max, me and Lewis. Even though I missed my dad that summer, it was so nice to finally have someone my age to hang out with. I realized Lewis was my stepbrother, but it felt so weird to think of him like that. He seemed more like a long-lost friend. I thought siblings were meant to fight. The whole month we were on vacation, Lewis and I never fought once. In fact, we had the best time ever. It's like he always knew exactly how I was feeling. One day I was really sad because my dad called and said our cat, Molly, had been run over and the vet had to put her down. I cried so much, and Lewis was there for me. He went out and bought us ice cream and downloaded our favorite movie to watch. We lay on the sofa together and watched it, and I just felt so calm with him there. He really cheered me up. When the vacation ended and we had to go back to school, I was secretly so upset. It meant I wouldn't see him every day, and I got so used to that. Now it was back to our normal routine and different schools, and of course different homes, because Lewis stayed with his mom. He always came to stay with us on weekends, but that was normally the time I'd spend with my dad. One weekend I pretended to my dad that I was sick, so that I could stay at home. I didn't really understand why I was doing this. I just knew I wanted to watch movies with Lewis. My dad told me to get better soon and that he'd pop round on the Sunday night with some soup. My mom and Max were going out on a date night, and Lewis had invited some friends around for pizza and movies. I didn't mind because his friends had become my friends too, and he thought maybe they would cheer me up and help my mystery illness go away. Then he winked at me. I think he knew I was faking it, but to be honest, he seemed pretty happy that I was sick. So after everyone had arrived and we'd ordered the pizzas, we put on a movie. It was a pretty funny movie, but there was this one moment near the end where I always got sad every time I watched it. When it got to that part, everyone was laughing. Everyone except me and Lewis. At the exact same moment, we looked at each other and said the next line coming up in the movie. It was such a crazy feeling. I didn't know Lewis even knew this movie, and yet we both felt the same way about it. I actually had a tear running down my cheek. Everyone stopped laughing and realized we hadn't laughed. They all looked a bit shocked, as suddenly Lewis turned to me and took my hands and said he had something to tell me. He said, ever since that first day we met, he'd liked me. I told him I liked him too. But then he said, no, he likes me in a different way. Not like in a brother-sister way. I could feel myself blushing, but I also felt so comfortable, even though everyone was watching us. He looked me straight in the eyes and then he said, I love you, Caroline. I don't care what people might say or think, but I know in my heart that you are my soulmate. You're the one I've been searching for, and I can't believe how amazing our connection is. I couldn't stop smiling, and I reached out to him and gave him the biggest hug. Even though there were other people in the room, I didn't care. Hugging Lewis and hearing him say he loved me was the best feeling in the world. We started talking about how crazy it is, how much we have in common, and how complete our life feels now that we've met each other. And the whole time we were hugging, I could hear our friends gasping in shock, and Lewis's best friend Gary actually got up and left, saying how wrong this was. But nothing else mattered except our love for each other. What do you think of this story? Please feel free to share your comments and